Anthony, I'm filled with disappointment that I am not getting to see you in your backyard today because all of this rain. It's very sad.
Anthony, I am filled with disappointment because I don't get to see you in your backyard today because of all this rain.
That's right.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Anthony Melchior, it is so great to see you. I'm sorry that we've got to be indoors today instead of outdoors, but how are you doing today back in your home studio?
I will do my best not to repeat every word you say, but you're just mesmerizing. How are you? I think maybe it's time to shave the beard. What does the audience say?
I don't know, man. Let's find out what the audience has to say. Should Anthony shave his beard or should he let it continue to grow? Anthony, my vote is you got to keep it. You've started something. You're no quitter. I want to see what happens next.
Well, I want to, I don't know. I shaved my head because I can't stand the hair. I started feeling the hair, and my daughter started going like, hey, I've never seen you with this much hair. And I started feeling it. I was like, oh, I haven't felt hair. So I'll do the beard. I'll keep the beard. And what happens is I start to ask the question about this time. Mm-hmm. It's about 2 weeks. And I say, hey, should I keep the beard? And everybody says, yeah, I should keep the beard. And then I go for another week and then I shave it. When my wife says, hey, it's starting to look good, and I shave it. And I don't know why. So this time I might actually go full beard.
All right. I'm excited to see it. I say go full ZZ Top beard. Really take it over the edge.
Let's see. Okay, you're a geek. Where's the ZZ Top band member who just passed away?
I totally forgot the drummer. I totally blanked on his name, though.
Isn't it funny? Everybody, like every band, everybody knows the band. I'm trying to get my thing right. Everybody knows the band except ZZ Top because of their beards. Their beards overtook their name.
Yeah, but they sold a lot of records because of it, so it worked out well. And I'll never forget that she's got legs, all because of them. But Christine, great to see you. We haven't seen you here for a while. She likes a clean.
All right, that's it. It's getting shaved.
I don't know. Colleen's saying no. Daniel,
what? No beard.
I don't know.
Daniel, you don't get a vote.
It was Dusty Hill. Thank you, Suzanne. At least I got the first name right. Totally blanked on the last name there. All right, let's get this show going. But before we get this show going today, and we've got two great guests lined up today, I just want to thank Tom Gilmore and our friends over at Ecotech Waste. And I'm hoping that events such as the lodging conference at the JW Marriott Desert Ridge, we'll be talking to Harry Javer in just a second, that hotel is smart enough to go and get these baskets. You know, Anthony, because why have those traditional plastic baskets? You got to pick them up. You got to clean them. You got to put them back out. It's a whole lot of man hours with it. Go environmentally safe. Just throw these out. People are going to love you for taking care of the environment too, don't you think?
Especially now with the labor shortage.
Yes, exactly. Check it out at eco-techwaste.com, eco-techwaste.com. Now, I know our friend Tom Gilmore will be joining us at the aforementioned JW Marriott Desert Ridge to attend the lodging conference, which is coming up the final week of September. I'll be there September 27th through September 30th. And that, of course, is run by founder Harry Javer, who are on to talk a little bit about the conference and what to expect. Harry, so great to see you, our friend.
Good afternoon. Good to be here.
It's so good to see you, too. So, Harry, I am super excited. And, I'll be hosting a breakout session. We're going to be doing No Vacancy Live from there. Lots of great interviews lined up. And I'm super honored to be able to host a general session with you guys on Wednesday morning with some of the top minds in hospitality, such as leaders from Hilton and Marriott and our buddy Jim Alderman over at Radisson and Accor and the chairman of AHOA. I'll give everybody's names and titles, but you guys register for the conference. You'll see how awesome they are. Harry, how are you feeling 2-3 weeks before the event takes place at the JW Marriott Desert Ridge, September 27th through 30th?
I am ecstatic. I can't wait to get there, especially after being off last year.
Yeah.
I think we all saw that story last week that said business travel is going to be down, by 2/3, some crazy number. And I have to tell you, over the past 3 weeks, we exploded. We added hundreds of people. We're over 1,800 people. So we're going to have our second largest conference ever.
Wow.
So we're thrilled. The exhibits are sold out. The sponsorships are sold out. We can't wait to get there.
Yeah, and I think people are getting back into that feeling of, you're not going to do this to me again. I'm not going backwards. It's like, I'm going to go out. I'm vaccinated. I'm going. That's it. And that's my feeling. My feeling is I'm just waiting for that booster. When they say the booster, I'm taking the booster. I'm ready to go. So I look forward to being there. What What is the number of participants this year? I'm sorry, I missed that.
18.
We are at the moment we're over 1,800. So
Wow.
depending upon the next 2 weeks, we may grow to 2,000.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So, Harry, you're not worried? I know there was a time earlier in the year that you were concerned that the area would put a size limit on the event and stuff like that. But fortunately, JW Marriott Desert Ridge, where you first held the event in 2019, is so much bigger than the prior hotel. It's probably a non-issue for you anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, the venue's large enough. I mean, we could even have 4,000 people, which we'll never have, but
Right.
it's very large. There's a lot of outdoor space. There's a lot of room for people to spread out. So not worried at all.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about the event, why it's so important to attend. And already more than 1,800 people are going. I'll be there. Anthony will be there. A lot of you out there will be there. But for the people who aren't going there, what makes this event you think so special that it stands out from the other industry events? And after you share it, we'll tell you what we think.
So look, I go to all the industry events, and I think if you're going to be in this industry, you should not limit yourself to one. You should go to 4, 5, 10. They all have their.
Absolutely.
You should go to all of them. I think we are at a resort. We're at a beautiful resort. It's very laid back. There's no suits and ties. People are often walking around in shorts and sneakers. The food is 5-star, over the top. I mean, not many conferences serve lobster tails and things like that. So it's really, I think that's sort of our niche. Very upscale, very laid back. It's 3 days. So you really have a chance to sit down and spend quality time with people that you already know or meet new people.
Right.
What are you looking forward to here? Like going into this conference, going into the next year, we're kind of in between. What are you looking to hear from the people speaking?
Now we're sort of at the end of the year, and granted, we're still dealing with COVID, and we're going to probably have to deal with some form of it into next year. So I'm interested to hear what people have done over the summer in this kind of, how are they dealing with? How are they operating? How are they changing? I want to hear about what people are doing in terms of labor. It's an ongoing issue. It was an issue, let's face it, it was an issue in 2019 and 2018.
Right.
So
and there were still 1 million jobs open back then.
Right.
Now the problem is so much more exacerbated.
Exactly. And I want to hear about deals. I want to hear how deals are getting financed now, what the hotel valuations are, who's lending, what the private equity situation is, and the new construction reports.
Right. Yeah, that's all going to be very, very important. But the thing that I like most, Harry, beyond hearing all of that valuable information that provides actionable insights to improve your business, I love how casual and laid back it is. Not because I don't like putting on a suit, which everybody knows I'm not a big fan of to begin with, but really it's because it feels like the barriers between titles of people kind of evaporate while you're there for 3 or 4 days. A person who's brand new to the industry can walk right up to a CEO of a major company and have a meaningful conversation. People are open to it. People are much more receptive to the interactions, I think, than a lot of the other events. Mostly, I think, because you said a great stage. It's at a really relaxing resort. It's that first big event of the hotel industry to get back to conference season, and people are raring to go and exchange information. So, Anthony, have you gone to the lodging conference before?
I have not, believe it or not. I don't believe I've ever been to one.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you there. That'll be a whole lot of fun. But Harry, how's the sushi situation going to be over there?
Top notch.
Harry, he asked a question that you were thinking in your mind. Glenn, that's a silly question.
No, it's not.
Why are you asking him silly questions?
Because I have a big philosophy on how the health of the hospitality industry is directly tethered by the type of sushi that you get at industry events. When you got the guys backstage rolling the rolls and making the pieces right in front of you, and they've got all sorts of different types of fish, we're riding high. But then on the conversely, the less pieces you get, the worse we're doing.
I bet you there's some truth to that.
Because it's directly tied to how much conference organizers want to spend on the event. It may not be a case this year, but over my 20-year career, I've noticed the sushi get better and worse just before the industry starts to change up and down. So I think it's a real good bellwether indicator of the the future prospects of the business. That sound right to you, Harry?
Glenn, lox and bagels for breakfast, road food for lunch, lobster tails for dinner, and top shelf alcohol in the evening. So I think we've got it all covered.
Hey, you do have it all covered. Oh my God, I forgot about the road food. Oh, Anthony, it is both simultaneously best and worst thing that you could expect. You get the White Castles, you get ribs from somewhere in the middle of the country. You get all of these great regional foods that they bring in. Harry, what's your favorite of all of them?
Al's beef from Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And I have it delivered to my house during the year as well. I can't wait the whole year to go without it.
So are there any concerns about labor when it comes to this resort itself? Has anyone said, hey, we can't have this kind of event because we have a shortage, or is there anything like that? Or it's all behind the scenes and it's all they're all handling it? Has it come to your attention at all?
No, not at all. I mean, Steve Hart has been with that property. He helped build the property. He's been there since it opened. I am positive that they will have enough people there. Not a concern whatsoever.
Great.
That's awesome. Anything else that we need to know about the event, sir?
So again, it's September 27th. We still have some spots remaining, less than 100. We probably will sell out at some point, but we're really excited. We're doing the Above and Beyond Award this year is being given posthumously to Arnie Sorensen. And we're really excited about that. Arnie's wife, Ruth, is going to be there.
Beautiful.
And then during the conference, we're going to have sort of a ceremonial walk for Arnie, since Arnie always liked to exercise. So we're going to have a walk, a run, a jog, a hike. And, we're just really thrilled to be able to give this award to him and to have Ruth there with us.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. That's a really terrific idea. I love having his family there. Absolutely incredible industry professional. We still miss his influence to this day. All right, Harry, any final words before we let you go?
See you in Phoenix. Bring your sunglasses and your shorts.
All right, we'll see you there. And be sure you go to lodgingconference.com and sign up today. Thank you so much, Harry. We really appreciate it. Dude, I'm super excited to go to this event. Like I said, I can't gush enough about this event. It's one of my favorites of the year. I like that they changed the venue to here. While I did like the Arizona Biltmore in the end, it just was too small to accommodate the people. And I think this is the perfect venue at the perfect time. And Liz Wolfe, you are the world's greatest industry professional. I promised today I would mention you. Harry would be nothing without you over there. So thank goodness you are a part of the team. Anthony,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm feeling old, Anthony.
It's the first time I'm not traveling till then. So it's like I haven't not had a ticket in my name for 2 weeks in a row in a long time. So it's a little weird.
It is a little
And
weird.
why are you feeling old, my friend?
Because that is what we call an incredible segue to bring on our next guest over there. That is Melissa Batchelor, who's the Associate Professor at GW University and Director of the Center for Aging, Health, and Humanities. Not only that, but of course, she's got herself a podcast called This Is Getting Old, Moving Towards an Age-Friendly World. And Anthony, she focuses on taking care of older people, both as guests in the hotel and how you connect with an aging workforce to be better. So, Melissa, thank you so much for joining us here, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So, all right, Melissa, I know that we're going to talk about real serious stuff, but the first issue is really important to me. I'm getting older. I'm starting to wear eyeglasses. Can we get the amenity providers to put bigger letters on the shampoo and conditioner, please? Can you work on that for me, please? Get on that.
They need to put bigger letters on more than just that, but definitely.
Yeah, certainly. So I love that you're focused on moving towards an age-friendly world. And the fact of the matter is all of us are getting older and there's more active older people than ever. Both folks that want to travel and enjoy their golden years, either with their spouse or a multifamily generation, or they want to stay in the workplace. So how did you get involved into this, and why are issues for the aging so critical for you when it comes to creating a great hospitality experience?
So I think I got into this pretty much from the beginning of my career. I mean, I was in nursing school and said, I'm really never going to work with older adults. I'm never going to work in a nursing home. That's actually only where I've ever worked. But part of the work we've done with the Center for Aging, Health, and Humanities at GW is partnered with different age-friendly cities and communities to do some regional work around a lot of the different things that need to be put into place in order for things to be age friendly. And when I say the term age friendly, it's not just for older adults, it's friendly for people of all ages. So one of the examples, down in Florida, they had created these beach access ramps, and now I'm starting to see them even in other places, but it just makes it easier for you to get onto the beach. And they were built more from like an accessibility, disability perspective, which would include older adults, but not all older adults are disabled. A lot of them still can get around.
Right.
But the people that loved it the most were the moms with strollers. So, you put one thing into place, but it actually benefits more than just people who are aging.
Right.
So what are you seeing since the last 18 months, especially where the older generation had to really isolate more than anyone? What are you seeing the after effects just in being around those folks? What are you hearing?
So, well, I think right now that people are vaccinated, that your largest travelers right now are going to be the vaccinated, older adults. And so I think that I'm seeing a lot of that this summer. It's been a much busier summer just because people have been cooped up and isolated and they're ready to travel. They also have the income, to do the traveling.
Right.
And so I think that they're going to be your largest demographic in the next coming months. And they all are also vaccinated because they're in a higher risk group.
That makes a whole lot of sense to me. I'm making a note of this because we're going to be doing several keynote speeches in this upcoming year, and appealing towards older travelers makes a whole lot of sense to me, because I'm seeing, doctor, that younger people that have younger kids that are not of vaccinated age, they're really at a crossroads right now. They don't know whether or not they should or should not travel. Plus, they're getting back to school. And for all the hoteliers out there that really want to kind of supplement the business of not maybe having as many big groups in, maybe not seeing as much business travel, this is a terrific way to appeal to them. So do older travelers want to be communicated to in a different way than younger travelers? And I want to know, because now that I'm in the 50 plus group, I need to know how how I want to be spoken to.
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, realizing that when we say older adults, that there is not like it's one group of people that are all the same. So you have a lot of variety. You have, older adults that aren't on the internet, and you have older adults that are. My 85-year-old grandmother just got an Apple, an iPhone, and last time I went to see her, she had a pop button on the back, and I'm like, And then you have my other grandmother, who was in a nursing home for a year and a half, and she understands FaceTiming now, but didn't a year and a half ago. So they recognize there's a wide variety of expertise and how people want to be communicated with. But if you're going to use social media, definitely hitting Facebook more than maybe TikTok, because that's where they're going to be finding information. Yep. Maybe instead of sending them a text message or doing online advertising, think more about your printed materials, so magazines, and where are the industries or places that older adults are reading these things. So I think those are some things to think through. At radio is actually surprisingly and cable television, not necessarily your streaming types of things, those are better ways to communicate with an older demographic. Yeah, so it just depends on who you're targeting.
I just got a direct mail piece from Broadway. I don't know what organization on Broadway, showing me all the shows that are coming back, and it was beautifully done. It looked very expensive. I sat down and I read the whole thing. And I was like, wow, I could have gotten that online, and I probably saw things like that online. But when I got that beautiful piece of mail, I almost said, I'm going to sit down and read it, simply because I don't want them to waste their money. So there's, like you said, there's different forms. One of the things that I used to do in the city when I ran hotels is I used to do AAA travel. I used to go into the magazine, and people were like, "You're out of your mind." And it was my number one. It was one of my number one most successful ads, is what I'm trying to say. And so it all you really have to look at your demographic and really concentrate on your demographic. Even the people that are on, whether you're 50, 60, 70, and you have your iPhone, doesn't mean that is the only way to communicate to me.
Correct. And direct mailing is another great example.
Right. But be sure that you're hitting the right people with the right messaging. Because anytime I get any direct mail, I'm just like, I don't get this. Why are you sending it to me?
Yeah, but if you got one from Broadway, you would have read it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, for sure. All right, Christine is seeing Broadway in Chicago. She's already bought tickets for stuff, and I am going to see Hamilton on October 2nd. And I try to say that every single time I can because I'm so super excited about it. But Melissa, back to you and aging. So, what about the fact that there might not be a whole lot of ADA compliant rooms in hotels? I'm not saying that there should be more or less. That's usually a local jurisdictional thing. But I'm saying if you're appealing to an older audience, you might need more of those facilities. Have you thought about ways to just make your hotel friendlier for aging people without having to go through the expense of creating more ADA compliant rooms, just for people that might need a little bit more? Like my mom doesn't need an ADA compliant room, but her mobility is a little bit less, and she may not want a big bathtub in her room. So what are some of the things that you're seeing out there?
I would say most older adults don't need the ADA compliant types of things, but things that you can think about include, the lighting in the room, kind of the placement of furniture in the room. I know that I saw something that Anthony had done a couple of months ago where, had the magnifying mirror, in each of the bathrooms. And, I know that's how I actually discovered that magnifying mirrors were a really good thing. I was traveling and I was like, oh, well, and at first I didn't use it because I was like, I don't need that. And then, I started using one. I was like, oh, maybe I do.
Well, and then you find gray hair in your eyebrow and you go, I didn't know there was a gray hair in my eyebrow.
Listen, you see all sorts of things you're meant to see, but it's definitely important.
Right. Well, I remember my mom one time, I saw something and she's like, oh my gosh, I wonder how long that's been there. And I said, I don't think you have to worry about it because all of your friends here couldn't see it anyways. So there's a little safety.
Well, it's interesting. I'm about to, in October, looks like I'm going to be doing a speaking gig for a company that talks about lighting in hotels and the importance of lighting. And it's the number one priority. Also, things like the shower bar, which I think is a federal mandate that you have to have shower bars in all the rooms. Things like that. The simple things that really not only for older adults, but really for anyone. Again, how many times I know I've gotten up in the middle of the night and I've smacked my toe against a piece of furniture that didn't need to be there or didn't need to be so big. That's another thing. There's too many big pieces of furniture in rooms. They're getting smaller, and designers are really becoming really effective in a good way. I think hospitality designers, hotel designers are really, really, really zoned in now. And I think that's because of the brands and their standards, but you're seeing a lot less clumsy furniture, so to speak.
Right. And you make my point about the fact that by putting lighting in the room, it makes it friendly for everyone. So no one has to bump their toes, not just older adults.
Right.
Other things to think about are some of the printed materials that are put in the rooms, like your menu, your to-go menu, or to order room service, to make sure that those fonts are like at least 12 to 14, a 12 to 14 inch font, and to use a lot of high contrast. So I know that an all white bathroom is beautiful, but it's hard to find a white towel against a white background. So having some type of contrast between your wall color and the towels that you're using. So making sure that the bathrooms, that there's some type of textures to decrease risks of falling. And I do think most bathrooms do have the little call bell in case you end up with an emergency. One thing that you could consider is if someone's had a hip replacement, they cannot sit on a lower toilet. But rather than changing out the whole toilet, you could even have some adaptive equipment that was available, like to raise that toilet seat up, and then just making sure you have infection control and sanitizing things.
That's a really really good point. I never even thought of it. Our producer Suzanne just asked, how about those QR codes in restaurants for older adults? Are they being overwhelmed by them? I know the first time I started using them, I didn't like it. Now I'm kind of used to it. Is that a concern?
Actually, I think the QR codes are a good idea, or to have some type of technology that you're putting your menus in. First of all, that gives you the ability to make the font bigger or smaller, depending on your visual acuity. You can put a high contrast in that. It's easier to change your menus out if they're all electronic, and you can put them in multiple languages, which increases accessibility in a lot of different ways. So I think the QR codes have been good for people that do use technology. The other thing, you talked about the size print on the shampoo labels. I'm really all about receipts these days. I mean, I've started going out, again, and I get the receipt, and now I'm like, okay, what does this say? And so a lot of people have to take pictures of it and blow it up. And so if you use technology, it's easier for people to make those adjustments.
All right, so one of the things that bothers me about the QR code thing is not the idea, but a lot of times the execution with it. I suspect that younger people are in charge of setting that up. So when the QR code goes to the menu, all they've done basically is have the exact menu on the phone. So the print is like super teeny tiny. Then Melissa, with your suggestion of expanding it, you have to expand it so much that you can't really read more than half of that one particular item. So if you are going to be offering things on a QR code, please format it in a totally different way than guests would look at it in your menu. Not only do you want people to see it, but there's probably a different psychology behind how to order menus on the electronic environment than the placement of things in more of a traditional menu type of scenario. Anthony, does that make sense to you, man?
Not only it makes sense to me, as we're talking over the last few days, whether it be talking to our guests yesterday, the day before, talking to Melissa today, is that, if I was a general manager of a hotel today, I would get a whiteboard my first day and I would say, okay, who's coming to our hotel? What's our market segmentation? And let's have a plan, whether it be a marketing plan, whether it be a health and safety plan, whether it be a room plan, and let's really target everyone that's coming to our hotel. Do we have more children? Let's come up with a program for children. Or do we have more older adults? Are we near a hospital? What kind of things do people need when they're near a hospital? Maybe their family members in the hospital and they need a different requirement. So I really think what I'm hearing, not only today, but in the last few shows, is that I don't think as hoteliers, we do a really good job. We look at a guest and as a guest. We don't look at a guest and say, what are their needs? And I think these conversations are really important.
Right. And then also, what are the things that your staff need to know? You brought up kind of if someone's there for visiting somebody in the hospital, staff need to know how to deal with medical emergencies. They also need to know how to recognize normal aging from abnormal aging, and to look at an individual and not assume just because they have gray hair, they're not going to be able to hear you. And so you start off talking, super loud. But if you're talking in your normal voice and the person can't hear you, it may be because you need to slow down, or you may need to lower your voice. A lot of older adults lose high frequency hearing. So if you're a female and you have a high voice, and you're not going to be able to hear that. But if your staff know to just lower their voice and slow down, then that older person can hear you. So there's a lot of things like that could be helpful.
Well, I appreciate that. And everyone that is in my orbit, can you please do that? Because I have everybody that knows me knows I have profound hearing loss. I have 60 to 70% hearing loss. So people, I don't have gray hair, but I can't hear anything. And so people they talk fast, and I talk fast and I mumble my words. However, if you slow down and you speak a little bit louder, I can hear you. Right, Glenn?
Yes, that is correct, Anthony. But more so, Melissa, you provided me with a very valuable excuse for when my wife claims that I'm not listening to her. So this show has been worth it on that alone. Sorry, honey. Your frequency, your voice is too high pitched. Can't hear a thing that you're saying. Love you anyway. But Melissa.
Oh, well, hold on. Before you move on from that, I want to tell you that one time I had a patient in a nursing home that the problem the daughter wanted me to solve was the fact that she couldn't hear her telephone. So this goes back to what else can you do in a room?
Right.
And all I did is I just turned down the pitch of that phone to a lower decibel, and she could hear it because she had adequate hearing. She just couldn't hear that high pitch of the phone. So that's another thing.
That's a great little tip. And these are the things that people in executive positions don't typically think about unless they might have a family member that has these particular special needs.
Like I think I told you, Glenn, I had a microwave that was going off. The food was cooked, and my wife was upstairs in the shower. She comes downstairs completely frustrated and said, "Why didn't you open up the microwave so I don't have to hear that sound?" I was sitting literally 2.5 feet at my kitchen island from the microwave, and I did not hear that sound.
Wow.
She was in the shower. And she
right. And one other, that makes the point about the high frequency hearing loss. The other part of it is in your hotel dining rooms or in your bar area, to be sure that there's not a lot of environmental hustle and bustle, so to try to minimize the background noise, because sometimes with hearing, the busier the background is, it's harder to focus on what's being said.
So what you're really talking about is designing with more soft surfaces and stuff like that. That'll absorb the sound. That'll create a more intimate environment for everybody.
Right. And the level of your overhead music, and then the how much chatter people can hear. I can tell you, I go to the wine house here in Fairfax pretty frequently, and they would do these tastings. And before COVID, I was like, when your sommelier stands there and they're talking to this side of the room, we can hear you, but when they turn their head that way, I can't. And so what do you do if you can't hear someone? You start talking to your neighbor, particularly if you're drinking wine. Right. So I advised them, I was like, you need to use a microphone and your overhead speakers so that everyone in here can hear you. Well, during COVID, they were all wearing masks and couldn't project their voice. So they started using that microphone, but they can tell already like that people can actually hear them now. So I don't think that they'll ever go back to that. So it's just little things like that to think about, little tweaks.
Yeah. Now, Melissa, one of the issues that we're having in hospitality right now is a severe labor shortage. It seems that young people are not engaging with the hospitality industry as much as they used to. In fact, Professor Suzanne has told us repeatedly about how at hospitality schools, enrollment is so far down across the country at all schools, it's starting to get frightening. What would you suggest to hoteliers that are thinking, hey, maybe we could get an older workforce in there? That 50 plus community could be a great resource. Older people might have ended their main career, but still want to work, still want to be engaged. And I think hospitality is a great business for them. How would you suggest that hoteliers reach out to the older community of 50 plus to try to engage them in the workforce, as opposed to what I've seen throughout my entire career is, oh, you're 50? Bye.
Right. Well, maybe the reverse part of that is the fact that now they might not say that because, right. There are a lot of industries, a lot of service industries having that problem. Mm-hmm. Even in nursing and nursing home care, we're experiencing the same thing. So I think making sure that if there's a way for someone who's not been in this industry before, some type of pathway for them to kind of advance might be helpful, giving them the training that they might need. Also tailoring your policies and procedures towards older workers mm-hmm. can be helpful. Maybe making more part-time options. I think that's one thing. A lot of older adults don't want to work full-time, but they could work part-time.
Yeah. And it's the difference of knowing your employee. The older adults a lot of times are working because they want to work, not because they need to work. So if you make it accessible for them, they will be happy to come to work. But if you're making it rigid for them, then like, I don't need this aggravation. I'm doing this just to get out of the house and just to have fun and to interact with people.
Right. And to recognize that people that are 50 and older, they know a lot. They're a lot more reliable. They're going to be more mature yep. and probably more productive. Because of all the things that you just said. I mean, this isn't like necessarily something that they have to do. It's something they want to do. And it's probably more of a social type of employment for them.
Yeah. Keeps them out of the house, keeps them active. And I don't mean to use the word them pejoratively, but it keeps older people more engaged and active, which I do think is the key to being younger and much better than having all those young folks around, which are potentially more apt to call in sick because they were out drinking and having too much fun the night before. That's
and when I'm finding, and we talked about it yesterday, but I was in a hotel recently, and I won't say where, but I literally went out of my way to say hello to every single employee I saw. And it wasn't like, hi, it was like, hey, how are you? Very direct, very squared up, very pleasant. And I said hello to this young man that was in the elevator that literally could not find the corner of the elevator quick enough. He worked there, had a name tag on, everything. Got on, there was like 6 people. He got into that corner of that elevator so quick. And I literally said, hey, how are you? You work here? What do you do? He looked at me like this. This is a nice hotel. And he goes, yeah, I work here. And he went like this. And he was the first one out of the elevator. And as he's walking out of the elevator, now I'm pissed off. So now I said to him, I said, have a good night. And he literally threw his hand up as he was walking straight ahead and went like that. Like, that's a problem. That's a problem. That is just a warm body filling a uniform. I don't know if that's going to get us forward in not only this industry, but every industry.
Nope.
I just had to say that. It was on my mind. Sorry.
You like
No, I
to-
mean, I think that's the benefit of having an intergenerational workforce. I mean, a lot of kids today don't have social skills because everything's on their phone, and that's very isolating. And an older population didn't grow up with that, and so they want to have to actually have a conversation with you.
It's funny. It's the first time I actually said that to myself. Usually I just get upset and whatever. And I blame training and everything else, but it was the first time I actually saw that. Like when I saw that, I was like, that is a person that just wants his computer, just wants his cell phone, and wants to escape. Literally, I said that to myself. And again, that gets down to the training, because what we do as older people working in this industry is we discount the younger generation and just say, oh, there's no helping. No, if you train them, what does it take to say it is mandatory to wear clothes to work? It is mandatory to come to work, and it is mandatory to say hello and goodbye to people. Those are simple things that you must do. Okay, you may not be the best, you may not be the friendliest, but you must do that. Just like you put on a pair of pants, you got to say hello to a guest. To me, it's a lack of training, and it's a failure of older managers just putting these kids in a box and saying, hey, there's no helping them. I'm just glad to have a body. It's lack of leadership, and it's lack of training.
Right. And to recognize that not everyone has the same communication skills. And so how do you build those scripts? And I know I hired, like 12 college students to work on one of my research projects, and I had explained the project, and, we sent them into the facility to collect data. And I said, tell me what you would say if someone asks you why you're here today. Because the name of my intervention is NOSH, Nurses Optimizing Supportive Hand Feeding. Mm-hmm. So, but in Durham, North Carolina, that you could have been a catering company, because there's a restaurant there called NOSH. I said, so tell me what you would say, and they couldn't answer the question. And they said, all right, I got to give you an elevator speech, and you're going to have to memorize it, and we're going to go around, because you need to be able to answer this question in like 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's part of the communications training, and then. Again, that intergenerational workforce is going to be important for helping people develop those skills, because you need to see someone who's really good at it to understand how to emulate it and model it, and get better at it yourself.
Melissa, what's the best way to attract older people to even apply at your hotel, or to go actively out and recruit those folks?
So there is a program, a certified age-friendly employer program. It's the CAFE program. Started in 2006, and so it's a way to, as an organization, to kind of here are the best practices around your general workforce policies, your organizational culture, and employee relations. So then there's like 12 of those. I think that if you are aware of the things that you could be doing, then it's easy to figure out how to implement those in your individual hotel or within your corporation. And so they're up to over like 100 like Fortune 500 companies that are part of this this CAFE program. So Starbucks, Home Depot, Crate and Barrel, even Toys R Us is a certified age-friendly employer.
Well, Toys R Us are now in what big box store are they going in? I just heard Toys R Us are making a comeback.
Oh, thank goodness! They're probably going to be in like a Target or a Walmart or something.
Yeah, I think in one of those stores. Can you mention that organization again, so Suzanne, our amazing producer, can put it up?
Yes, a certified age-friendly employers program, or the CAFE program, and I can send her the link also.
Great. Well, she'll find it. She's smart. She's a PhD too.
I heard.
You have to be a PhD to be a producer for us, because we're so smart.
That's it right there.
Toys R Us is coming to more than 400 Macy's stores next year, Anthony.
Oh, Macy's. So she got that up and told you about Macy's all at the same time?
No,
you figured that.
I researched the Toys R Us thing on my very own. I just discovered something called Google, and it works miracles. Mm-hmm. So that's great. I've been using Ask Jeeves all these years. I didn't know what I was missing.
You wish you discovered Google at $90, didn't you?
Now
I think the other thing, sorry, getting back to hiring older workers, a lot of it, making sure that things are easy for people to apply. So a lot of times now it's a computerized system, and making sure that people doing the hiring aren't filtering out and saying, I want people between 25 and 35, to increase that age group or the age filter, so that you're seeing a wide range of people, but also thinking about how people can kind of old school come in and fill out a paper application.
There's so many biases, right? Not only racial biases, age biases. And I think getting applicants online and looking for a bunch of resumes is horrific. I think that we have failed a generation because we went right on to internet resumes, and if I had $1 for every single person that told me no one ever answers my resume, I'd be a billionaire. It's such an ineffective way to hire people. And what I say to people all the time, and I don't care if you're older or younger, show up. Get on a plane.
Right.
I had somebody literally get on a plane and get the job. Get on a plane, get in a car, drive 5 hours, drive 8 hours, drive 10 hours. People want stories. People want to hear stories. So if you go there with your resume and say, hey, how are you? Oh, I don't have time right now. You know what? I just drove 4 hours to hand you my resume because I really, really want to work in your hotel. There's so many people out there, again, whether it be young or old. If you want a job, it is unfortunately your responsibility to get that person's attention, because we are overwhelmed with resumes. And it's, I'm helping a young man right now. I'm actually posting on my LinkedIn. He's looking for a job in entertainment marketing. And I'm posting saying, hey, I have somebody I'm mentoring that's looking for entertainment marketing. Do you have any availability? I'm trying to help him because I'm trying to shake the tree, because everyone is just robotic right now when it comes to resumes. Even the people that are looking and desperate for jobs that are getting resumes aren't doing a good job of returning calls and returning emails. And they're not really good at filtering out what's in the resume. That's another thing that I'm irritated by. I'm irritated. I must be old. I'm irritated by a lot of things.
It seems like it.
You might be older, but you're not old, Anthony.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I don't know. He's usually standing in his underwear on the lawn yelling at the kids in the neighborhood.
Well, see, that's weird, because growing up where we grew up with, you'd have those old people yelling to kids. There's no kids on the streets anymore. The other day I came home on the weekend and I saw my next door neighbor's grandchildren, who were in their 20s, playing basketball with the hoop that's in the middle of the street. And I was so excited. And my brand new car was in my driveway, which was literally feet from where they were hitting the basketball. And I didn't care. I was like, if they dent my car, I don't care. I am just so excited to see kids playing basketball.
That's awesome. All right. So anything else that we need to know, Melissa, before we wrap it up with you today?
I think I appreciate you guys helping to raise awareness about different ways that the hotel industry can become more age friendly. I can tell you there is a Marriott in DC close to the convention center. I don't know if you've ever been to it, Anthony, but it's all white marble floors, and the stairs are even white marble. And I'm like, this is like such a fall risk. So I think it's just looking at your environment in a different way. And then we went to another volleyball tournament, and they had put a black piece of tape at the end of each of those stairs to create that contrast. And I was like, that's all that they have to do for that Marriott to fix this. So I think it's just raising awareness, helping people to think about their environments differently, their training differently, and to realize that there are resources out here to help you. So I appreciate it.
I was walking through one of those hotels, and they may be Marriott, going to a volleyball. And it was going from the hotel to the convention center. It's that long walk. I think it was in Philadelphia. And I literally walked into a closed door because they didn't have any tape. And thank God I was walking slow. I walked right into a closed door.
I'm good for at once every few years. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you make my point. Like, again, that wasn't age friendly for anybody.
No, for anybody. So I'm more interested right now in all those titles that you have next to your name. FAAP and FNP. What does all that mean?
All right. So RN, I'm a registered nurse.
Right.
I'm a family nurse practitioner.
Okay.
And I have a PhD. And the FAN is I'm a fellow in the American Academy of Nursing. So that's kind of the highest honor we can get in our profession. So I'm a fan. Okay.
Well, I'm a fan.
Well, thank you.
All right. So one last question to you. If my son, Benjamin, wants to apply to GW University, any tips?
He could email me, and I'll take a look at his resume and his personal statement. So
All right.
And again, I do think making that personal connection, no matter how old you are, is always going to be critical for getting you to the next step, no matter what you want to do, whether it's school or. And my daughter's at GW.
Not what you know, it's who you know, and it's making connections. And just so you know, Melissa, when he asked you that, he was hoping that would be your answer.
I wasn't actually. I wasn't thinking of anything. I mean, I entered this conversation.
Well, that should have been what you wanted. You wanted her to take a personal interest.
Yes. Well, I don't want to do that every day here on No Vacancy Live, which all of you guys could watch, but it's Thursday at noon. Melissa, how do we learn about This Is Getting Old podcast moving towards an age-friendly world?
Well, you can go to my website, melissabphd.com, and sign up for my newsletter, or you can find me on YouTube, also Melissa B. PhD, and follow me on social. So,
beautiful. Any other plugs that you'd like to make before we let you go today?
I don't think so.
All right, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for being here, Melissa. We
All right.
really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you go, I have one question.
Uh-oh.
Are you a vitamin person or you're not a vitamin person?
Oh,
I do take vitamins.
Okay.
At least a multivitamin, B complex, and now C with COVID. So,
Okay. How about D? You take D?
well, I get enough of that in my multivitamin.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
thank you, Melissa. Appreciate
All right.
it. All right. Anthony, I'd like to say that you should be proud of me. I waited until she finished saying everything before I removed her from the show. So,
Glenn, I just want to have this conversation with you. Is your mother available?
yes.
Okay.
You want to
Do
reach
you
out
want
to,
to tell her? 'Cause I want to tell her how proud I am of you.
well, we'll ring her up. Don't you worry about
Okay.
that. You could come if you'd like. You could join us over here for Erev Yom Kippur dinner next Wednesday night. She'll be here.
Do I get reading material? What is that? Just put that down, please. Put that down. Don't ever show me that again.
Oh my God.
I can unsee that. What was that?
Craig thought it would be a nice idea to send me a pineapple related sleeveless T-shirt that then shamed me into putting on air for a couple of
Well,
seconds.
at least the pineapple is upright.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think much pineapples were upright after seeing me in that outfit. But that's a
Well,
story.
apparently, I was reading something about what a pineapple when it's down, what it means.
No.
I believe it means you're ready to party, Glenn.
Oh, I thought I don't. That as it is, obviously, whether or not I am ready to party, wearing that outfit is not going to help me at all. But something that will help all of you out there, and I know that you want to do this, you want to check out our audio podcast feed, all right? You can find us at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, all of the places that you are. We're even on Amazon Prime. We're at every of those sites out there. So go download our show. And if you want to reach out to either of us personally on social media, he's Anthony Hotels, and I'm at Traveling Glenn. Anthony, any final thoughts?
No, sir. I think we really need to get geared up to go to Garden City next week. And I think, David, if you're listening, you need to help us do that.
And we really got to get over there. Next week, though, holy crap, it's already the week of the 13th next week. We're going to be in Times Square on Tuesday, 14th, celebrating the reopening of Broadway, aren't we?
Yes, we are. I'm so excited that.
Yeah, we got a lot of great shows that are coming up. Let me see if there's anything cool next week that I should mention right now. Sorry, guys.
We're going to be the lullaby of Broadway.
Yeah, we got the CEO of Norwegian Cruises on Monday. Then we got Broadway on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we're talking to folks from Aruba. And then Thursday of next week, no show. I'm going to be taking off that day for Yom Kippur. All right.
Okay, well, happy holiday. And when I say the lullaby of Broadway, you say what hotel name?
The Milford Plaza is the lullaby.
Which is now what hotel?
I forgot the name of it now, but they did a nice job reinventing it. It's like attached to that food hall right next door.
I'll give you. It has the name, one word. Well, it's a one-word name, and it's in a child's song. The title of a child's song.
I totally forgot.
Row, row, row your boat.
It's called Stream.
It's called Row. It's called Row.
I'm joking.
Very nice. Yeah, it's one of the first times I've seen a major mega hotel in Times Square or in New York City or really anywhere that looks like kind of the feel of a boutique hotel when you walk in.
Yeah, they did a really, really good job of it. And if you want to hear the song about the lullaby of Broadway, Google it on YouTube. They got a great song on that, and in the center of it all.
It was on forever, and it literally like it made that hotel. And I think that hotel was so successful because of that commercial that they just took all the money and bought the world and put no money back into the hotel. And that's when they had to basically gut it and make it a new hotel, because that hotel was an absolute shithole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It really was not in good condition. They did a terrific job with that. All right. Let me do one quick Jew educational moment. Thank you so much for saying Happy Yom Kippur. You said that too, Anthony. That's actually not the correct thing to do it, because Yom Kippur is a day of atonement. It's a day of fasting. It's a day of reflection. So what you want to do when you want to engage in a conversation with somebody like that, you want to say, have an easy fast. I hope that Yom Kippur goes well for you. Rosh Hashanah, which is just wrapped up. Now that is a celebratory holiday.
So you don't say Happy Yom Kippur. That's like in that.
Right. That's right. Yeah, you wouldn't know that. You would.
That's like saying Merry Easter.
Yes, that's right. People say Happy Easter all the time, even though it's really more of reflection about Jesus coming back.
Right.
Right. So, just so you guys know, nobody's offended, nobody's hurt, but we want you to engage with human beings better. And thank you, Michelle, for taking that in the spirit that it was intended. Right. Boom. Have an easy fast. We'll see if I'll be fasting at all this year. I don't know. I'm hungry these days, man. So we'll see. I'm going to try to wash away all of my sins in a year, which is great. Not as cool as a Catholic deathbed confession, because then you're just clear and go. I can't eat all day. All right, let's get out of here.
Now you sound like me. I'm talking and I can't shut up.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you on Monday, tomorrow, Friday night on at 5 p.m. Come and have a drink with us. Have some laughs with us. We'll see you Monday. And until then, remember, you got one life and blaze on and
be kind to yourself.
see y'all later.